You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters two-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Good evening and welcome to Hanover, New Hampshire for tonight's high school football matchup featuring the Division II Hanover Marauders and the Gilford Belmont Golden Eagles. Hello everyone, I'm Jeremy Stowe, joined by Scott Quimby. And tonight, Scott, a Division II matchup here under the lights. The Golden Eagles of Gilford coming off a big win at Gilford Belmont team 2-3, trying to get to the playoffs. They missed out last year. Who should we watch for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Alex Cheek's been playing great QB for them here, and like you said, they're 2-3 coming off a big win, looking to even it up here and maybe move in the right direction. They've struggled in Division II so far. Jack McLean, kind of a utility man on offense, a Swiss Army knife. You'll see him line up at QB, play some running back, catch some passes. Very talented kid. And then certainly John Mitchell is an outstanding linebacker. He's going to tackle a lot of people today.
All right, and for the host Marauders, Hanover struggling so far this season, 0-5, looking to make the playoffs. Last year, losing in the quarterfinals, 6-4 was their record. Who should we watch for tonight as Hanover tries to get their first win?
Well, they got a good running duo between Seamus Murphy and Hank Trimble. I think they're going to probably rely heavily on that. Certainly Caleb Morris, their senior quarterback, is going to play a big factor as well. I think you're going to see a lot of Hanover running today.
All right, it should be a good matchup between Division II teams here in Hanover. It's the Golden Eagles and the Marauders on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing needs. Our YCN game next week features the Hurricanes of Hartford hosting Rutland, always premiering Sundays at noon. Golden Eagles with a nice scamper off the right side for their first play from scrimmage. Not sure who the ball carrier was there, maybe 24? Blake Descato? We do not have an official roster here for Golden Eagles, so one of the coaches was kind enough to get us that information, and so we're working with a little bit of a half roster, and also one other coach, Coach Cousins, was up here in the booth beforehand, giving us some inside intel, so we appreciate all the help from the visiting team as we see another run up the middle, and a nice gain on first down, another 6 yards.
Yeah, I expect to see this a lot from the Golden Eagles here until Hanover can stop them. Golden Eagles have obviously been the better team so far this year. They're a little bit bigger up front. And so far the first two runs, both very successful.
So that'll bring up second down and about 4 yards. Have to get to the Marauder 48. We've seen a lot of running, but we actually have seen 2 passes, which are more than we see some of the games. And again, a right run to the right side and another first down. It looks like he's close, and he does get it. That's Descato again.
Yep, it was a direct snap to him, and he rolled out to the right side, followed his blockers nicely, and picked up the first down plus a couple.
And as you mentioned, this team, the Golden Eagles, I mean, sitting at 2-3 and by no means out of the playoff chase. A win here gets them to 3-3, and they've had some good games so far this season. And a team that 6 years ago they combined, it was Gilford had the team, and Belmont joined them 6 years ago. Gilford was in Division 3, but then they moved up to Division 2 after they had the combined rosters. So they hadn't won many games. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but they're fighting for a playoff spot this year. They have a timeout. We'll take one as well. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. 1st and 10 for the Golden Eagles after the timeout, and a penalty flag flies, 3 of them to be exact. It's going to be against Gilford Belmont. I'm sure that'll be a false start.
And I would assume multiple parties are guilty on that one anytime you see 3 flags flying in from all different directions. But to what you were saying with Gilford Belmont, I believe 2 and 3 they are still in the playoff hunt, but with a 10-game schedule, Jeremy, they're going to have to really finish off strong. I can only imagine they can probably afford maybe one more loss the rest of the way.
Yeah, they'll certainly be on the outside looking in, but maybe put something together and try and start it right here to get into that playoff bracket. But the 1st down and 15 run isn't too successful. Maybe picking up a couple of those penalty yards back, so that'll bring up 2nd down and 13.
They don't have to get it all here. Just get a nice chunk here, make it a 3rd and 5, 3rd and manageable here, and then they can try to pick up the 1st down.
And even if you get it maybe to the 40-yard line, you could consider going for it. As we've talked about every week, it's the high school football.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really super impressed with some of the punters, so you might as well go for it if you're getting closer. So see what they do. But first, the 2nd down and 13 play. And moving the pile nicely.
Big rugby scrum there on the play.
Yeah, big gainer.
He was kind of stopped. His momentum looked like it was stopped a yard into the backfield there, and the offensive line basically pushed him and moved him forward. And now they got like I said, a 3rd and manageable, 3rd and it looks like 4 to go.
So a 5 or 6 yard gain there brings up a 3rd and manageable, as you said, and clearly looking to get the 1st down and maybe go for it on 4th if they don't get it here. We'll see what happens, but they've certainly had some success after Hanover starting with the football and picking up a 1st down and getting into some trouble with some penalties, but then punting it away. The Golden Eagles have clearly looked good on the ground, and again the direct snap and goes off tackle. Flag flies in, and that's most likely going to be against Gilford Belmont.
Which would be a killer too. Like you were saying, I think they probably would have gone for it at 4th down there, but now with what I assume is going to be a 10-yard penalty, it's going to be a very difficult decision here for their...
Yeah, so then it'll go back to about, I think they got about 3rd and 5 right here, so it'll go back to about, well, it depends on where they mark the penalty off. If it's from the spot of the foul, it could be longer than 3rd and 15. Is it too close, only 3rd and 5, to decline the penalty and make it 4th and 5? They are going to do that.
They are. Knowing that they're going for it here, I think I would have accepted the penalty and made them, make those 10 yards back.
Right, because 5 yards, it's not like it's 7. I mean, it is that manageable distance. You're right.
If it's 3rd and 15, you got to put 2 plays together in order to get that 1st down, most likely. Now you only got to do 1, but we'll see. We'll see what they drop.
So 4th down, and again the direct snap is going to fall short, I believe. The ball carrier was the quarterback, Jack McLean, and he is tackled short of the marker. So a turnover on downs. The Marauders will take over with 4:50 to play. No score. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. 4:50 to play in the 1st quarter. Both teams had 1 possession, a punt for the Marauders, and a turnover on downs by the Golden Eagles. Penalty flag flies, and I believe that's going to be some sort of illegal motion on the Marauders.
I would have to assume so. Flags were flying as soon as that play was snapped.
And then they didn't really stop the play, so it wasn't a false start per se, but it does look like it was a illegal shift. And you could see one of the Golden Eagle defenders was kind of pointing at him and looking at him like, wait, that's illegal what he's doing. And the refs took their cue and threw the flag. So minus 5 yards on that one. And now incoming to the game is Caleb Morse. As we mentioned, we'll see him a little bit. Sometimes in the shotgun, sometimes as a running back. 1st and 15. Marauders yet to get anything going in this first quarter. Again, that kind of bunch formation with Morse drifting out to the right side. He'll take the pass, sheds one defender, and then is able to almost shed another one, but he's pushed out of bounds. Maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. But a nice little gain there on the pass.
I think that one's going to go in the books as a run play. That pass actually went backwards, so fortunately for the Marauders, that was caught.
So Morse gets the carry, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. This game is being brought to you by Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team and so much more. Top Stitch works with businesses and schools, marketing with custom t-shirts and embroidery for more than 20 years. 2nd and 10, clock not moving as the ball carrier stepped out of bounds. 4:39 to play in quarter number 1. And again, the Marauders keep it on the ground. The pitch to number 5, I believe, Maurice Cotto.
Good positive gain on that run there to at least bring up a manageable 3rd down here.
That will bring up 3rd and 5 at the 43-yard line.
Colin Pierce continues to line up at quarterback here every time.
The Marauders only returning 3 offensive starters, so clearly a very young team, and one of those is number 8, Caleb Morse, who falls forward for only a couple, and it's going to be at the 45-yard line, 3 yards short, and Scott, I'd imagine it's another punt here for the Marauders.
Yeah, I wasn't certain if this was going to be a punt or not. It's not a terrible spot. They're around midfield. They could have probably gone for it here with a 4th and, well, it looks like 3, but they decided to just punt it away and play it safe. It's a 0-0 game, so there's not really any sense of taking any unnecessary risks at this point in time.
So they will punt it away. Back there to punt, Caleb Morse. Nobody back to receive it as the Golden Eagles were expecting maybe a fake punt. And once again, not much of a bounce. Maybe bounces a couple yards. And the Golden Eagles will take over at the 35.
That's why I thought they might go for it. I mean, both punts that they've done so far have only gone about 20 yards. So by taking the chance to go for it there, even if you turn it over on downs, you're only losing 20 yards rather than with a real good punt, 35-40.
Right. No, it makes sense. And as you mentioned, it's not like they're at their own 30-yard line. So, but the way that Caleb Morse has been punting, he'd be pretty good at the coffin corner punting or kind of sticking it inside the 5 if he has to, because both of his punts have kind of bounced straight up in the air and really not gone anywhere.
Speaking of not going anywhere, that run did not go anywhere. The Marauders in the backfield instantly to take out the Golden Eagles ball carrier.
I believe that was Descato again. He's the big-time ball carrier for the Golden Eagles, and he'll go backwards, as you mentioned, 2nd and 1. Inside 3 minutes to play. Really not much offense from either of these teams, as the Marauders with 2 punts, and now Golden Eagles taking over here, trying to move the ball. They moved the ball nicely on their first drive, just kind of ran out of gas as we see our first pass from Gilford Belmont, and that one is incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like almost a throwaway. It looked like a zone coverage, and there was 3 Marauders around him, and that wasn't really a good spot to fit that ball in there.
Just threw it up and hoped that his receiver might get it or nobody. Miriam Liam was the intended or the nearest receiver. We got a flag on the field, though, right down in the middle of the field. Referee's discussing, and it looks like it's going to go against Hanover.
It was a hold, which the Marauders declined, or?
Yeah, it must have been a decline.
I think it was on the offense, but it was declined.
Right, because it'll bring up third down now, and it's originally at the 3rd and 11. As we see another deep pass, he's got a man open, catches it in stride. It's a foot race to the end zone, and he is tackled. And he is tackled at the 1-yard line.
Heck of a throw there. He laid that thing in there perfectly. The receiver created separation right from the get-go. Basically just a go route on the sideline, and he had 3 or 4 steps on his man, and the pass was just laid in there perfectly. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite break it for the touchdown, but they got it down here at the 1 and are in prime real estate to punch one in.
Yeah, Curtis Nelson, the wide receiver there, and he was tackled by Cato right at the goal line. Looked like might have fallen forward into the pylon, but the refs say he was out of bounds at the 1, and it will be 4 tries here from the 1-yard line if they need him. In the shotgun, 2 running backs flanked. Descato takes it himself, and he falls forward, and he gets it into the end zone for the touchdown, number 24, Blake Descato.
Yeah, Descato, just a pretty simple dive play, a direct snap to him, and he bounced off a few tacklers. He's a tough guy to bring down and powers his way into the end zone.
So with 2:06 to play in the first quarter, the 1-yard touchdown run is 6-0 score right now, and the 2-point conversion coming up, as it looks like the Golden Eagles will. They've got 4 wide receivers, 1 running back behind Jack McLean, the quarterback, and it's intercepted in the end zone and not able to run that one back, so it'll just be no good, and that's where we leave it with 2:06 to play in the first quarter. The Golden Eagles lead the Marauders 6-0. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Kickoff here from the Golden Eagles. Stopped at the 21-yard line after looking like it was going to go out of bounds.
Yeah, that ball was beeline for the sideline, and then it looks like it landed in mud or something. It just died.
Must be something with the turf here, as both punts from the Marauders have literally just bounced straight up in the air and maybe a yard or two one way or the other, and that one again.
Well, we were on the field earlier, pre-game, Jeremy, and the field, you could tell just walking on it, it's a very soft turf, and I think that's probably playing a big part of what we're seeing as far as some of these bounces go.
Right. So Hanover will take over. 1st down and 10, officially at their own 24 after giving up the touchdown. Set up by the big catch. And the 1st down rush, good for 6 yards there. Watch our Yankee Chronicle every week on this station at 8 p.m. on Saturdays. If you miss any of our local programs on our 3 YCN network stations, you can always watch the shows and games anytime on our website at ycnnow.com. 2nd down and 4 for the Marauders.
It's a good way to start the drive with a nice 6-yard run up the middle.
Yeah, they haven't had a lot of successful runs on 1st and 2nd down. They've gotten a few yards here and there, but nothing to set them up in 2nd and short. And 2nd and short, and as 2nd and 4 is really where you want to be. You got a lot of options here.
Another thing they have to stop doing is committing penalties. They're kind of putting themselves behind the 8 ball here. It's tough to sustain a drive when you're behind like that.
And the quick pitch to Cato is received by Cato, but then immediately tackled at the 26-yard line. The quarterback didn't really set him up, or the offensive line didn't really help.
You got to feel bad for a running back like Cato in a situation like that. I mean, the guy, the second he catches the pitch, is getting hit. I mean, there's nothing he can do. It's a minus, 3-yard run for him, and, it has nothing to do with his ability or anything like that. It was, I don't know, just a bad design, I guess, not executed by the blocking.
Right, that was the big thing, yeah.
Tough break for Cato.
So 3rd and long now. Dropping back, passing. I think a misread on that one as Morse didn't quite go far enough, and number 32, Joshua Bucci, was a little too far. So that kind of dropped in between both of them, and incomplete, and another 4th down punting situation for the Marauders.
We'll see if you can get a little more into this boot here. The Golden Eagles have 2 guys back here. And it looks like they're not going too far back either to try to play that short punt, so they're starting to catch on.
Yeah, I mean, he should punt this one about at the 15-yard line, and they're only lined up at the 40, or the 50, excuse me. The low snap is handled nicely. This time a good little bounce, but picked up cleanly and eventually tackled after scampering back to about the 48-yard line. That's where the Golden Eagles will take over. We'll keep it here with 15 seconds to go. So, Scott, first quarter reactions, it's really been all Golden Eagles at this point.
I mean, the Golden Eagles really, they've only had one play themselves, that big pass play down the sideline. They didn't look good on their two-point conversion attempt. It was picked off in the end zone. It's been kind of a stalemate. Neither offense really has anything going other than, again, that one big Golden Eagle play down the sideline. So we'll see. Maybe that's something that they're going to try to do a little more of.
So 3 wide receivers for the Golden Eagles. High snap, but it's corralled by Descateau, and he is going to scamper forward. Nice gain there, a big 9-yard gain, and that's how the quarter will end with a 2nd down and 1 coming up from the Marauder 43-yard line. After 1 quarter of play here in Hanover, the Golden Eagles lead the Marauders 6-0. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters 2-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Welcome back, 2nd quarter of action here, YCN Game of the Week. 6-0 our score. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, high atop the field here in Hanover. Golden Eagles with a 2nd and 1, and this time they'll hand it off to the big man. Number 28, don't have him on the roster sheet.
They had some motion in the backfield there and faked it to Descateau and went with, as you call him, the big man up the middle.
Danny Cameron
For the first down.
Junior fullback. Also plays linebacker on defense. So 1st down and 10 for the Golden Eagles. 6-0 after 1. All Golden Eagles so far, as you mentioned, really the one big pass play, but even when they haven't been getting big chunk plays, they've really been at least moving the ball forward when it's compared to the Marauders.
More successfully than the Marauders. I mean, it's been nothing pretty. Obviously, they turned the ball over on downs there in the first drive. But they are getting some bigger chunk runs here, 6 to 8 yards apiece here, and moving the ball down the field and threatening again.
Plus, you obviously get the good starting field position that the Golden Eagles have had. They've clearly won that battle, it seems. Kind of in the pistol formation back there, and the handoff up the middle, number 47, I believe, and we were talking about him, John Mitchell.
He's their defensive standout on their team, but giving him some plays here on offense.
Going forward for the 1st down. 1st down and 10. Ball just outside the 30-yard line. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Mascoma Savings Bank, mutually owned with no shareholders to please. If you want your local game, event, parade, or concert televised into YCN's over 300,000 households, contact us at info@ycnnow.com. Big tackle there in the backfield, and only one of a few negative plays for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, that one got stood up rather quickly. Good job by the Marauders there, stacking the right side of the line of scrimmage and shutting it down.
And it looks like somebody on the Marauders' defensive end shaken up a little bit. Listed as number 77. Don't have a 77 in the program, but he comes out. Second down and 10. Dropping back to pass. Hit as he throws, but he gets it away perfectly. And the completion again, this one to number 80, and another first down.
Yeah, that's real well done for this high school level. Usually the pass plays we've seen been successful are pretty much just go routes down the sideline. That was a nice post play over the middle, good timing route, and their QB hit him right on the money.
Brandon Gallagher was the receiver on the end of the pass from Jack McLean, and a nice play there as he was hit as he threw, but a first down, and they got first and goal from the 9. Escoto keeping it himself, and he's going to get into the end zone after jumping over a couple of would-be tacklers, and a touchdown for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, not much resistance there. He went straight up the middle, and it looked like he was barely touched. He had a convoy of blockers around him protecting him, and big hole here for the Marauders to start this football game.
So a second touchdown run, this one of the 9-yard variety. The first one was the 1-yard one after it was set up from the big pass play from McLean to Nelson. And again, going for 2 are the Golden Eagles. This time keeping it on the ground. But again, no good. So 2 touchdowns, 2 failed 2-point conversions. 9:14 to play. Golden Eagles leading the Marauders 12-0. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. 12-0 our score. Golden Eagles on top. A squib kick there. Touched at the 35, and then falling on it is the return man.
A bit risky there for the Marauders. They hit the returner on the 35-yard line and kicked off him. He had to jump on it right before the Golden Eagles players got there. Not an onside kick by design, but sometimes those squib kicks can mess with the return team, and that one almost caused a little bit of trouble for the Marauders.
Eric Blix was the receiver on the end of that. Not really the return man, didn't return it, but he was able to corral it, and it's a first down here at the 34-yard line where Hanover will take over, trying to get something going. They've had some decent plays, but they've stalled out in either a punt, and then I've had a couple penalties that moved them backwards. That one maybe getting a yard.
Looked like a fullback dive there. Not much hope for a big gain on the play. The blocking wasn't there, and this Golden Eagles defensive line is kind of shutting down the inside run, taking the interior away from the Marauders.
So Hanover will huddle up. They don't really push the pace. They're taking their own time here on second down and 9. And even when they get to the line of scrimmage, there's still some movement, a little too much movement, and again, a penalty on the Marauders.
Yeah, this is their 4th penalty now. When you're struggling to move the football, you can't afford these costly mistakes. It's hard enough to get yardage as it is, and then you're moving yourselves back every couple plays.
And we saw that a lot last week. You weren't with us, but we were over in White River Junction, and Hartford was doing a nice job on the defensive line, drawing false start penalties out of Burlington, South Burlington, by their shifting on the defensive line. So 2 straight weeks now where one team has been mired in a penalty slump, and that ball's just thrown away. So
There's
it'll bring up third down.
Flag on this play too, though. It was by where the QB threw it. I'm not sure what the flag was for.
Couldn't have been an intentional grounding. He was out of the
pocket.
pocket.
No, he was definitely out of the pocket on the play. He did throw the ball away. He definitely wasn't intending to hit anybody on the play. But they are marking it back, and they're calling a hold, or?
No, they're calling it intentional grounding because they're marking it third down, which is loss of down, and they'll spot with the ball. I thought he got it back to the line of scrimmage, and he was out of the tackle box, and I thought those were 2 of the rules that you had to cross. The original line of scrimmage, no, but this line of scrimmage was, you got to remember, backwards,
at the
4 or 5 yards
4
back.
yards back, 4 yards back. And he threw that from the numbers, basically. So, he was way out of the pocket.
Well, either way, that's the call on the field, and it's a 3rd and very long. They have to get to the 44-yard line. Ball spotted at about the 12-yard line. So 3rd and 31, 32, and they'll just do a little pitch, make sure they don't fumble it, and just punt it away at this point. Go ahead.
I was going to say, not a good situation here for the Marauders, the way they've been punting the ball here. They're going to be kicking this one from their 10 or 12-yard line. We're going to see Golden Eagles get the ball here, probably around the 35, 30-yard line, prime position to put more points on the board.
I think that was a tough penalty call against the Marauders.
I would agree with you. I don't quite understand why that was called.
And that's going to be a running into the punter as the ball is up to about the 36-yard line, 36, 37. And it's just going to be, I would imagine, just a 5-yard variety, so they can choose to re-kick it. And
so the ball went nowhere off his foot. Did they not get a piece of that?
No, they didn't get a piece of it. They just kind of kicked off the side of his foot. Maybe he kind of rushed it because he saw the pressure. So, what do? Do you take the 5 yards and hope you kick it, or do you just take the 5 yards after the kick?
Yeah, it was a very poor kick. I would think they would want to try to re-kick it, but
then again, you could have that rush come at you and block it. So, looks like they are going to re-kick. As punter picking up the flag. Very gentlemanly here in Hanover. Tossing it back to the ref. I'm sure he asked him why he didn't get a roughing the kicker call on that one.
Yeah.
Come on, Stripes, help me out. So it'll be 4th down. Maybe a little bit more breathing room now. Inside 7.5 minutes to play here in the quarter. Low snap, and that's the danger of a redo because kicked it. Might actually end up with the bounce. It might.
Fortunate bounce. The kick was shorter than the last one, but he did have a nice friendly bounce there.
I think it's going to end up being net exactly the same because I believe the ball was at the 37-yard line. Now it's at the 42-yard line. That's where the Golden Eagles will take over. We'll keep it right here. 7:19 to play as the Gilford Belmont Golden Eagles looking to get it going here. And if you're Hanover, you have played some nice defense. Like you mentioned in that first drive, it was just that big pass play. And then really that second drive was that other nice pass play, that post route over the middle, and then just a 9-yard run.
Not only that, Hanover's offense has given their defense a short field to work with here every possession so far. And they do again here, and big first down run here. Flags on the play, though. Yeah,
a couple flags. One coming in from just this near side where the running back was, and then one coming in from deep. So I wonder if they saw the same thing or 2 penalties. But a good run. I believe that was Descato again, all the way up to about the 23-yard line. But that's going to come all the way back as the holding call was right around the 34-yard line.
As you mentioned, Jeremy, I wasn't part of your broadcast last week, so I can't speak on the flags that game. But the games that I have done so far this year, we certainly have seen a lot of flags so far.
And it seems like, maybe not exactly, but it does seem like sometimes there's one week that one team clearly has more than the other as opposed to an even distribution. But, today we have seen them on both sides, so... And that's a big penalty right there because they had it down to, the 24-yard line, and now it's backed all the way up in 1st and 13 from the 44.
Yeah, the play itself went for a good 15 yards on first down. So you erase that and move back another 2 yards. It's really a 17-yard penalty net. So huge penalty there for the Golden Eagles.
Direct snap again. Descato takes it up, and he'll get back maybe to the original line of scrimmage. Bring up 2nd down. The YCN scoreboard sponsor is LaValley Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Our next YCN game is the Hurricanes of Hartford hosting Rutland. That should be an exciting matchup of Vermont football powerhouses. We've seen Hartford now twice this year. They're 1-1 in those games, losing to Middlebury, and then last week beating Burlington, South Burlington. Big second down here, and he's got another man open. That looked like it was Nelson again, and he is going to be just overthrown. But a good effort, and this quarterback, he can throw.
Yeah, I mean, that pass was there. It wouldn't have been an easy catch. He had to reach for it, but it did go through his hands. A beautiful pass.
That'll bring up third down. All at the 42-yard line. Third and looks like they'll give it about 11 yards. Have to get to the 31 for a first down.
It's certainly nice to have a QB like that can throw downfield in your back pocket. Kind of can bail you out of a lot of situations, and it's going to keep this Hanover team guessing here on defense. You can't just play the run against a QB like this.
So timeout on the field. The Golden Eagles want to talk it over before third and long. 5:57 to play in the second quarter. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. 5:57 to play in the second quarter. Third and long for the Golden Eagles here. Again, they're going to go deep. They have their man, and he catches it and runs into the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Eagles.
I mean, that's 3 go routes down the sideline. 2 of them complete for huge gains. 1 of them just incomplete. He's laying that ball in there perfectly. He's got a nice touch in that pass and that deep ball.
42-yard touchdown pass. And that is, again, I believe,
Jack McLean with a throw.
Jack McLean with a throw.
I didn't get the number of who caught the touchdown.
It was number 80, and we've seen him go deep a couple times. That was Brandon Gallagher. So Gallagher with the big touchdown, going for 2 again. Overthrown, and that'll be incomplete. So not having a lot of luck on the 2-point conversions, 0 for 3. Usually figure you make 1 or 2 of them, especially the way they're moving the ball nicely, but I guess...
yeah, we haven't seen a single extra point or field goal attempt so far for either side. I'm not sure either side's too comfortable with their kicking game, so I would be surprised to see anything but punts and 4th down conversions and 2-point conversions here today.
So 18-0 the score, 5:49 to play, just past the halfway point in this second quarter. Marauders going to try and get something going here.
Yeah, this offense has to do something. I mean, they're putting their defense in these horrible positions. I mean, when the Golden Eagles are starting over midfield every time, it's a very, very difficult task for this Marauder defense. So,
and that one's going to go out of bounds. So the ball goes out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. Penalty there. And the Marauders will take over. They get some decent starting field position. So, see if they can come up with something. Got to figure it out. They've been able to pass and run the ball. Not a lot of success, but we have seen a couple of dropbacks.
They're not really taking any shots downfield with their dropbacks. They've sort of been shorter pass plays into the flats. At least they're showing the ability to, or at least showing the willingness to try it. They're going to have to take some shots here, though.
And now in under center is Caleb Morse, and he hands it off, gains about 8 yards on the ground.
Yeah, interesting. It's been all Colin Pierce taking the snaps up until that point, and now it looks like it's Caleb Morse running the show.
Murphy, the ball carrier there, falling forward. Nice power rush. 2nd down and 2, and he's in the backfield again. The pitch again goes to Murphy. And a nice first down run crossing midfield, and that's a first down and 10 now. Maybe the Marauders getting something going.
I'm not sure. We don't see a lot of Hanover, obviously. I'm not sure if this is a normal quarterback situation for them or if they decided to actually make a change. Sometimes you see schools play multiple QBs over the course of a game, but this looks like they've done a straight switch with Caleb Morse in for Colin Pierce.
And so far it looks to be working. I mean, I know it's 3 straight runs, but they've done something, and maybe that threat of Morris, maybe a thrower, but either way, Murphy has had 3 nice runs. It'll bring up second down here and 3, and they're going to pitch it again to the outside there, but not as much success that time.
It didn't look like the cleanest pitch to begin with. He didn't really handle it too cleanly, just making sure he secured it, and by the time that happened, he already had defenders on him, so nowhere to go that time.
Well, here's 3rd down and 5, and it's clearly 4-down territory where you're down 3 scores. You're across the 50. There's no point in punting it, especially as we've mentioned the short punts from Morse.
Plus, their need to put points on the board, too.
Right.
I mean, you're down 3 scores already, so.
And again, the pitch to Cato. This one goes to the outside and maybe a yard. So all of a sudden, after 3 nice runs, they've continued to go to the well, and now next 2 runs have gone for really no gain. So 4th down. Ball sits at the 43-yard line of the Golden Eagles. They need to get to the 39-yard line of the Eagles. 4th and 4. Has a pass to Cato. He catches it and sheds one would-be tackler, but then he's tripped up and he falls down, but not before securing the catch and a 1st down.
Just a simple slant there for Cato, and we see Caleb Marsh just putting it right in his numbers. Easy pitch and catch, 1st down.
So nice 4th down conversion there from the Marauders. And they continue to move the chains. Again, the handoff. Good 3-yard pickup.
So clearly Caleb Morris has kind of provided a bit of a spark here for this offense. We've seen him on the field in previous drives, kind of playing a running back position. So we know he can run the ball, so he's going to have some versatility back there. And now we just saw him throw that laser on 4th down. So he's clearly multi-dimensional here as we get another flag.
Another penalty, and that's before the ball snaps. So imagine it's going to go against Hanover, and delay of game they're calling. And really I don't believe there's any play clocks here, so it's all kept on the field by the referees.
I would like to note Caleb Morris is a senior. Colin Pierce, who was starting, is just a sophomore. You don't see a lot of sophomore starting quarterbacks in Division II, so, maybe they're just trying to get his feet wet. They were 0-5.
And the jump ball, and it's come down high. Wow. Number 1, Jackson Rulke. And he was going one-on-one.
Yeah, Cato was with him too. They both got their hands on it, but the ball was wrestled away from Cato nicely, and I agree with the call. That was definitely an interception.
So we'll take a break. Golden Eagles taking over, 2:32 to play. They lead 18-0. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. 2:32 to play here before halftime. Golden Eagles taking over on the interception. And the pitch to Descato, penalty flag flies, so this run's going to come all the way back.
It's too bad Descato doesn't know that because he is running a long ways on this one.
Tackled all the way. I mean, we're assuming it's coming back.
I would imagine that looked like a flag in the area of holding.
Right where he was running.
And you see that a lot on pitches to the outside, and defenders getting kind of going toward the running back, and their blockers kind of grabbing onto the back of them. So. And it is coming back, and it is a hold. So, too bad for Descato. He's going to have a little bit of a shortage of breath here for nothing.
Yeah, that's going to be all the way back. He was tackled almost inside the red zone, maybe the 25-yard line or so, but it's going to come all the way back. They're going to mark it off, I believe, right from the line of scrimmage. It looks like their standing is about the 22-yard line, and that's where they'll pace it off. So it'll be 1st down and 20.
Nothing hurts like getting a 50-yard play erased.
But as they say, would it have happened without the penalty? We don't know. It was on that side, but you never know. It'll be 1st down and 20, and if you're the Golden Eagles here, you've got 2 minutes. I think you have at least 1 timeout left. And
with their ability to throw the ball downfield, I mean, 2 minutes is enough time, so we'll see what they do.
And this handoff goes to, I believe that's Mitchell. He's off to the left side and out of bounds. No, stays in bounds. John Mitchell with the nice run. Seen him a couple times. And that ball's at the 21-yard line. Clock moving, though, and the Golden Eagles not really showing a lot of urgency. I mean, they won't snap the ball. It'll be inside 80 seconds, I believe, by the time they get up to the line.
I don't believe there's been any timeouts used in this half so far, so they do have timeouts on their side, but I don't know if you'd want to waste this much time this far back.
And catch by number 1, Rolke. He's pushed out of bounds. Third down. And also, you are so far back, you don't want to turn it over or punt it away with time left for Hanover. So here's a chance where you figure we're not going to get much. We'll just bleed some clock.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the Golden Eagles are up 3 scores here. There's no reason to put yourself in a situation where it's anything less than that going into the half. So make sure you can either get yours or nobody's getting anything. So
big third down here. 3rd and 8.
And another shot downfield, and he's got him again.
Wow, he has his man, number 11, Nelson. After that big catch earlier, he doubles up and catches another one, tackled at the 39-yard line of the Marauders.
Jack McLean is putting these deep passes right on his receivers, and to the receivers' credit, they're getting separation and getting open too. So it's a double-edged sword here for the Marauders. They can't seem to stop this deep attack.
And a penalty flag, 12 men on the field. One of the defenders couldn't get off the field. And that ball is tipped away, incomplete, but penalty on the Marauders. And another penalty on the far side. I don't know if it's for the same infraction.
Yeah, so it would have been a free play, assuming that flag over there is not on the Golden Eagles.
Well, either way, I guess, because you figure it's either offsetting and they replay it, or if it's a free play.
It's a risk-free throw, let's put it that way.
Correct.
And the way they're throwing the ball downfield here in this second quarter, you might as well.
And it is going to be offsetting penalties, so it will be a replay of first down, 47 seconds to go. You got to imagine, want to keep moving the ball here and maybe put another one. First down, take another shot.
Now suddenly they got the ball inside the 40. There's plenty of time.
And another penalty flag. This one must be going against the Golden Eagles as play was stopped before it got underway.
I'm going to call a false start.
So all of a sudden this slowed down to a crawl as we approach halftime. At the halftime break, we'll be coming back for those TV viewers with some halftime analysis and highlights. And if you're watching this on Facebook, we'll be going away for the halftime and then coming back live in the second half. 45 seconds to play. First down and 15 now.
We had a nice stretch there. It seemed like the penalties started to go away, but they've come roaring back like they always do.
They seem to always do as the game starts to get to a rhythm, especially down at this high school level. Flushed out of the pocket, but he's able to find his man. That's number 13.
Stays on his feet.
Jacob Kress. He's tackled, but not before he gets down to the 10-yard line and a first and goal.
And another great play by Jack McLean. He's playing very well. He stepped in the pocket there, stepped up in the pocket. Great job by his line to create that path forward, and he hits his man, and we're seeing some impressive passing stats here by Jake McLean in the first half.
So it'll be first down and 10 from the 11-yard line. Timeout on the field. We'll step aside. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. First down and 10 for the Golden Eagles. 31 seconds to play before the half. Dropping back to pass again, and a wide open receiver. And a touchdown, number 1, Jackson Rolke.
Jack McLean's putting on a clinic at this point. The Marauders have no answer for this passing offense. I'm assuming they probably haven't seen too many passing offenses quite like this Golden Eagles one so far. This has been quite impressive.
So that'll put them down 24-0. And guessing the 2-point conversion coming up here. See if they can put one in the end zone. They've had success getting the touchdowns, but no success with the 2-pointers. And this one is caught on the flats and runs it in on the pass. Jacob Kress, after the big gainer setting up that touchdown, he gets the 2-point conversion, and it's 26-0 now. Hanover trailing. Tough first half, and as we mentioned, only, I think it's 3 returning starters on offense and 2 returning starters on defense. So clearly a young team.
Yeah, and it's
for this
showing.
Marauders
I
team.
mean, they were 0-5 coming in, and they're, I hate to say it, but they're going to be 0-6 coming out. I mean, you don't see a lot of 26-point deficits made up at this level. But like you said, it's a lot of young kids here, and they still have a lot to play for. Not for this season, but for their futures.
And I think that's part of the reason why we saw Colin Pierce starting this game. Maybe they figured, the sophomore could get something going and get his, like you said, get his feet wet and have some experience. But clearly it wasn't working out, and so they needed to put Morse back in there. As we see another squib kick all the way down to the 23-yard line, and Morse picks it up. He's tackled.
Yeah, it was certainly a bit of a surprise. I mean, we heard about Caleb Morse coming into the game and what he can bring to the table, and then you see Colin Pierce basically run the QB position for the entire first quarter as a sophomore. But, like we said, they're 0-5. They're probably not going to win this game, fall to 0-6. There's not really much hope for the season. Let's see what you got and kind of look and build toward the future.
Penalty flag. Going to go against Gilford Belmont. It looked like a face mask, personal foul on the tackle, so that'll advance at 15 yards and maybe give the Marauders a chance to do something. Not sure what they'll do with 21 seconds to play. For over 11 years, Bubba's Bar and Grill has been providing hungry patrons with high-quality food and friendly service, with a mission of delivering a remarkable experience to every visitor. Bubba's reminds you, we're having a lot of fun. And the kneel down there should do it for the first half. Clock's moving. No one is looking to set up another play, so that is going to be how we head into halftime. The Golden Eagles lead the Marauders 26-0. We'll take a break, come back with some halftime highlights and analysis on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Halftime here in Hanover. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, and the Golden Eagles up 26-0, Scott. And we weren't sure what to expect. We knew this Hanover team 0-5. They were struggling this year. But the Golden Eagles 2-3. Not exactly a powerhouse, but they've really shown their strength here tonight.
I mean, they're showing they're quite versatile on offense. Certainly a good rushing attack, good passing attack. Jack McLean's been incredible throwing the ball downfield. Just these go routes down the sideline. He's just dropping them on his receivers like it's nothing. And certainly Blake Descateau running the football too has been a very important part of their offense. He kind of took over the early part of the game for him, scored the first few touchdowns, and they were able to really control the ball that way. And Hanover, on the other hand, hasn't shown anything on offense so far.
Yeah, Descateau with the 2 touchdown runs, the 1-yard touchdown run, which was set up from the big pass play, and then another 9-yard touchdown run set up by another big pass play. So you're right, they're very versatile, and we don't see that a lot here in high school football where we see a lot of passing and running. What do you expect for the second half? I mean, is Hanover, they are kicking off in the second half. I mean, is there any chance? What's their game plan if you're a coach and you're talking to your Marauders team come out in the second half?
Honestly, being 26-0 at this point, I think both teams are going to play it pretty conservatively. I don't think we're going to see too much passing either way. I mean, there's not really any, even though obviously McLean's throwing the ball very well, I don't really see the Golden Eagles taking many more shots downfield. It's not necessary, and I don't think Hanover's going to do anything too crazy either. Maybe even get some younger guys back in. We saw they started with their sophomore quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised to see him some more too.
Yeah, in this type of game, you just don't want to get anybody hurt, and you just want to maybe keep it on the ground, not get anything too crazy. So we'll see what happens. The score is 26-0 here at the half. We'll take a break and come back with some halftime highlights in the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some first half highlights. 26-0 our score. The Golden Eagles leading the Marauders. And those are the first half highlights. We'll take a break and come back with the second half kickoff on the YCN Game of the Week. You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters two-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, we are set for the second half kickoff. The Marauders will be kicking off to start the second half, down 26-0, and that ball is fumbled, but then picked up at the 12-yard line, or excuse me, the 17-yard line.
Pretty good boot there by the Marauders, actually.
Best kick we've seen. I mean, obviously it's the only kickoff, but best kick we've seen from the Hanover squad, and return to the 26, and that's where the Golden Eagles will take over. Scott, we talked about it at halftime. If you're both teams and coaches, probably keep it on the ground. We'll see what the Golden Eagles do here, if they try and maybe get a quick score and then maybe bring in some backups, or really slow play it from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, if they are going to be aggressive and try to attack, it's going to be on this drive. I mean, we didn't see much from the Marauders' offense here. I think 26 points is pretty insurmountable, so I would assume it's going to be a fairly conservative approach here for the Golden Eagles.
That handed off to Mitchell inside. The fake pitch to the outside was the decoy man, and then the run inside for maybe a yard. Stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game. We will choose the team member that had the greatest impact on today's game. And I'm sure that will be one of the Golden Eagles players. We mentioned it at halftime. A couple of runs by Descateau, and then a couple of touchdown passes from their quarterback, McLean. And that'll bring up second down and 9. Descateau again bouncing off tacklers, and a flag flies. And got to imagine another holding penalty.
Yeah, that's in the area of a hold, which is going to bring another nice run back for him. We saw about a 50-yard gain by Descateau earlier come back.
And holding there, as we imagined, so a penalty will be accepted. Second down. Replay the down, and they'll march that one off. It's going to be second down and long. They'll spot the ball at the 22-yard line. So, gone backwards significantly. Second down and 15.
And that's a tough spot to get a flag thrown on you. I mean, by the time the flag came out of the ref's pocket, the back was already past the line of scrimmage. So, at the very least, he's going to get positive yardage there, and the hold kind of basically negates all of that. So
second down and 15. This time they'll drop back to pass, and they have another wide open receiver. We've seen Liam before. Miriam Liam with the catch and picking up a first down for the Golden Eagles.
I mean, certainly credit McLean with a spot-on pass. Puts it right in the numbers again like he's done all game, but the Marauders just aren't covering these guys in the secondary. They're getting open. They're kind of running free here, and it's easy pickings here from McLean.
Yeah, this offensive line has done a nice job protecting him and obviously switching it up with some runs and pass plays, which we don't see a lot in high school football. As we see another run here, Descateau falling forward, gaining about 5 yards. So we don't see that a lot. So when you have a quarterback who, like you said, is versatile, the offensive line can block, the receivers can get open. I mean, we forget about that. That's a skill in and of itself, is these guys getting open. This team, I know they're facing a Marauders team who's having a tough season, but they've got some good pieces here, and they can catch a couple breaks. Maybe be able to get to the playoffs here, like you mentioned, maybe win out or maybe only drop one and sneak in.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen any other games besides this one here so far for this team, but it certainly seems like a well-balanced attack, which is, again, not something you see a lot at this level. I mean, they're throwing a fairly high number of pass plays, which is, quite frankly, just not something we've seen, period, in any of our Game of the Weeks this year.
And you have a quarterback who can throw the ball. So while maybe the Hanover defense isn't as formidable as another defense, but if you've got a quarterback who's back there and he's, throwing up lob passes or he's missing wide open receivers, then that's a problem. It's like they say every week in the college and the NFL. You can't pick your schedule, but when you're playing the bad teams, you got to beat them up. And that's what the Golden Eagles really are doing right now, as we see another beautiful pass, kind of a shake and bake move by the receiver, and that's going to be another touchdown.
Just a lack of tackling there in the secondary, too. He kind of had three Marauders around him, and he cut right through him for the easy score.
And that's Kress with another score. He caught, that's his first score. He had the one that set up a touchdown, and then he got the 2-point conversion, but that's his first touchdown, so that's a 49-yard bomb and puts him up 32-0.
Seems like the Marauders are playing a very soft zone. It doesn't seem like they're playing man-to-man, and the Golden Eagles receivers are just finding the soft spots in that zone. I mean, 2 big pass plays this drive, and they were both wide open.
And the 2-point conversion is going to fall short again. This one was thrown to Merriam Liam, and he falls short of the goal line. So the score remains 32-0 with 8:48 to play in the third quarter. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Hanover taking the kickoff after giving up a touchdown, making the score 32-0, and this time Cato will try and return it. Gains a handful of yards. He's back up to the 30-yard line, and that's where the Marauders will take over their first possession of the second half, see if they can get something going. We had seen their offense work kind of in spurts in the first half. They had some nice runs, had a couple of nice plays, but then they would be, all negated by a negative play or a penalty or something. So I'm not going to say they're on the edge of breaking out, but it hasn't been all, runs into the box. They kind of got something going.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away some of these false start penalties and stuff like that, I think they might have some points on the board, but they gotta clean it up here. I mean, they're just a little too sloppy with the penalties, and we've seen a few negative plays, and really, it looked like they were going to come out and throw the ball a little bit. They had a completion on that very first series, but they haven't had another completion since then, so they kind of went away from that part of their game plan here. We saw the interception there toward the end of the second half, kind of a jump ball. But
right.
I don't know. I'd like to see them try to incorporate the pass game a little bit more in this half, just to see what they got. I mean, it's not going to hurt them. You're down 32-0, so what do you have to lose at this point?
Caleb Morse continuing to quarterback this team. He will be under center with Seamus Murphy in the backfield. And then flushed out of the pocket, Murphy with a nice catch out of the backfield and a nice first down for the Marauders.
So on the few pass plays we've seen Murphy do this. He's kind of scrambling out, rolling out of the pocket to his offhand side and throwing across his body, which is a little dangerous, but it certainly worked that time. And there's a pass play that we were just talking about for a first down. So
7:30 to play here in quarter number 3. Marauders get to the line quickly, and the handoff up the middle. 3-yard gain, and that'll bring up second down. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Ramontos in Claremont. Always fresh, always delicious. In addition to airing on our 3 TV stations, all YCN games are posted at ycnnow.com. Second down and 7. Maybe some offensive life here from the Marauders. Again, the handoff. Murphy. We saw this on that drive that you were referencing where it ended in an interception, where they had 4 straight running plays that all went for very positive yardage. Then all of a sudden they went, negative play, interception. So it's kind of like you went to the well too often, and the Golden Eagles figured it out.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're not mixing their plays up. I mean, they did go to the pass, but it was in desperation time where you kind of have to throw it or you're not going to get the first down, plain and simple. So when you go run, I mean, it's easy for the defense to know what's coming, and you can kind of predict it and sort of, get a head start on the play.
So the handoff to Cato here. He breaks free, and he is going to be gone for a big gain, but tackled at the 25-yard line. And just like that, the Marauders may be threatening and at the 26-yard line.
That was straight up the middle, good blocking, and Cato has a quick burst. You could see it right there. He shot that gap and nearly broke that one. By far the best Marauders play of the game so far.
So we'll see what they come up with here now. 1st and 10 from the 26. Again, the pitch to Murphy, and really not much blocking up front. He'll be tackled maybe a yard at the 25. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing needs. Our YCN game next week features the Hurricanes of Hartford hosting Rutland, always premiering Sundays at noon. 2nd down and 9. Inside 5.5 minutes to play. Quarter number 3. Marauders finally showing some signs of life. See if they can get something going. The pitch outside. Murphy has a little bit of an angle. Doesn't quite get to the corner, but he is able to almost get to the first down marker.
And that's certainly 4-down territory, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and short. So a good-looking drive here for the Marauders, not giving up and trying to get something on the board here.
Obviously highlighted by the big run play by Maurice Cato, the junior, who's listed as a wide receiver and DB, but he's lined up multiple times in the backfield as a running back, as he does here. 3rd and 1. They'll give to Cato. He plunges forward. Looks like he's past the line of scrimmage and the first down marker. It'll be first down. He is pushed backwards, but forward progress at the 15 for a 1st and 10. This game is being brought to you by Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team and so much more. Top Stitch works with businesses and schools marketing with custom t-shirts and embroidery for more than 20 years. Now if you're Hanover, got to score. I mean, it's 1st and 10. Obviously not here. It's at the 15-yard line, but you had a nice drive. As we see, dropping back to pass is Morse, and he throws a little wide, incomplete.
Yeah, the pass wasn't there. It wasn't quite on target, but he did have his man open on a little out route toward the sideline. And, if the pass was there, I mean, he could have had his man down around the 5.
We'll see what they draw up here, as they've had a lot of success on this drive. Basically their most successful drive of the game. And this one again going to Murphy. A little off tackle there. Maybe 4 yards down to the 11. Bring up 3rd down and 6.
Something we're seeing on this drive, though. We're seeing more 4 or 5 yard runs than no gains like we saw a lot of in the first half.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, I mean, maybe some defensive substitutions for Gilford Belmont. Maybe that defensive line. Or maybe they just drew up a couple new plays, Hanover did, and they're having some success.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell if there's substitutions or not, but certainly don't take anything away from the Marauders. They're having themselves a nice little drive here, and that one isn't going to get anywhere. There's a flag on the play.
Yeah, I think that's going to be roughing the unnecessary roughness, I guess is going to be the call. He's not a passer, but because he clearly was tackled by the feet.
He was tied up and hit up high after the fact. I think that's probably a good call. So.
Yeah, and the guy came flying in. I don't know if so much that he was tackled up high. It was kind of a combo where the guy came flying in, and he was basically teed up. Yeah, exactly. If he was kind of both, a double tackle, maybe they wouldn't call that, but they're going to call it. It'll be half the distance of the goal, as we have a personal foul, I believe, here, and that's what it's going to be called. Blow to the head, really.
I mean, you can call it soft call, but I mean, the guy was wrapped up. I mean, the definition is unnecessary roughness, and that it wasn't necessary. He could have tackled him many different ways. He was just trying to deliver a big hit there, it looked like. So I think that was a good call.
They still have third down marked, and I would have thought he would have been, because he didn't say unnecessary roughness. They said like a blow to the head.
Which still would be an automatic first down. That would be my thought.
But either way, they get it. They pick it up right there. So it's a moot point as we have first and goal from the 2-yard line and a timeout. The Golden Eagles want to talk it over. We'll take a timeout. 3:10 to play in the third quarter. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Out of the timeout. Can the Golden Eagles stop the Marauders' goal line offense? And it appears they do on that play.
Just short on that play.
Looked like he might have gone in, but both refs clearly had him marked down at inside the 1-yard line, and they'll do it again now, second down.
We heard on that before that play a little bit of noise here from the Hanover sideline for the first time this game. It's nice to see them getting into it here.
So second down and goal.
Yeah, there's a false start.
And that is exactly what they do not need. You have 3 more plays from about the 2-foot line, and now you're backed up 5 yards. Not to say you can't get it. You have been moving the ball nicely, but that's just a real tough penalty.
Yeah, with the ball that close, you just quarterback sneak, jump over the pile, easy touchdown. There's no reason to jump off sides there. I don't know what the play call was. It looked like a tight end that jumped, but yeah, not good discipline. And now we got another flag. And was it another false start?
And it is. It's going to be another penalty against the Marauders. So 2 straight, backs them up 10 yards. Now you're looking at second and goal from just outside the 10, maybe the 11.
So we talked about what was really slowing this offense down in the first half was these silly, undisciplined penalties. And now they're finally on the door of scoring here. And 2 in a row. 2 in a row. That's just unacceptable.
So second down and goal, dropping back to pass, and that ball is tipped, and it's going to be a penalty, almost intercepted. I believe they're going to call that against the Golden Eagles for pass interference.
Yeah, there was some contact there, but I don't know. I don't like the call. It looked like the DB got inside position and tried to play the ball and pick it off. I would have liked to see a no call there.
Yeah, I don't think he got there substantially in front of the ball. It looked like they both went for it, and they are going to call pass interference.
So a big break for the Marauders after the 2 undisciplined offsides penalties.
Ball will be placed at the 5-yard line, and they're still saying second down, so it's not an automatic first down, apparently. So second down and goal from the 5. Handoff to Murphy. Pushes the pile a little bit, but down to the 2, third down and goal now.
Now, I'm not super familiar with high school football rules, but why wouldn't that be an automatic first down?
Yeah, that doesn't seem, if I'm the defense, you're committing pass interference penalties every time you don't have a shot if you're inside the 10-yard line.
Absolutely. If it's anything in goal to go,
right?
And you think you're beat, you tackle that receiver.
Seems a little odd, but third down and goal from the 2. This time the QB is going to sneak it, and no signal yet. Piles in the end zone, and it is a touchdown. Caleb Morse sneaks it in from 2 yards out. 1:37 to play in the third. First touchdown for the Marauders.
Yeah, good finish to that drive here. Finally getting some points on the board. Something for the home crowd to cheer about. And something for this Marauders offense to feel good about.
So the quarterback, Caleb Morse, the senior, plunging it in from 2 yards out. And now it looks like the Marauders will kick the extra points. Ben Ives, senior kicker.
The score is 32-6.
And that's going to be mishandled on the snap. Now, Morse is just looking for some daylight to maybe make something happen. He doesn't get it, and then he's tackled. Fender's helmet falls off, and 32-6.
Yeah, the point I was going to make is the score is 32-6 there. 8 times 4 is 32, Jeremy. So why would you kick an extra point there? You're basically keeping it
right. You make instead of a five-score game. Even if you make the extra point, right? No, your point is well taken. So we'll figure that out when we come back. 32-6. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. 1:37 to play in the third quarter. Hanover Marauders have just scored to get on the board. 2-point conversion was no good, and here is the return man. That is going to be number 1 on the return, Jackson Rolke, and he's tackled out of bounds.
Fantastic return for Rolke there.
Very nice. It looked like maybe he was going to get some extra yardage on the tackle, but they're going to say it was a legal tackle. It looked like maybe for a second he had him from the back, jersey and a horse collar, but legal tackle, no penalty flags. We're happy to see that. And the Golden Eagles will take over at the 45.
Rolke took his time there when he caught the ball. He kind of watched his block set up before he took off and picked a direction to go. And, he made the right decision there. And his patience paid off with a solid return here and great field possession here to start this drive.
And the pitch out to the outside. Descateau scampering down the sidelines, just shedding would-be tacklers, and then he's finally pulled down, but not before. He gets it up to the 35-yard line, a big 15, maybe 16-yard gain. Spot the ball at the 37-yard line, so believe that would be an 18-yard run and a nice one here on first down for the Golden Eagles. And they have a 32-6 lead. We approach 60 seconds to play in quarter number 3. Golden Eagles really in no hurry. This one goes to John Mitchell. He goes up the middle for maybe 3 yards. Watch our Yankee Chronicle every week on the station at 8 p.m. Saturdays. If you miss any of our local programs on our 3 YCN network stations, you can always watch the shows and games anytime on our website at ycnnow.com. So, Golden Eagles really no hurry. You wonder if don't have a play clock, so we're not sure if they need to get a playoff here.
Yeah, no reason for them to hurry here. Just take your time. Use as much clock as you can, and just make sure everyone's healthy.
Nice catch there along the sidelines. Quarterback finally had a throw that wasn't perfect, and his receiver still goes up and bails him out. What a catch.
Right along the sideline, too. Great job to get his foot in bounds there and move the sticks.
It was Rolke again, and that is going to be out of bounds, so they won't start the clock.
The clock should wind when they get to the ball, though. Right? Again, I don't know these
I'm not sure.
Darn high school rules.
Well, I guess maybe in the fourth quarter that it does if you're winning, but either way, the handoff up the middle, that's going to fall forward for a couple yards, and that is going to do it. So after 3 quarters of play here in Hanover, Gilford, Belmont, Golden Eagles lead the Hanover Marauders 32-6. We'll take a break. Come back with the fourth quarter on the YCN Game of the Week. You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters 2-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Remontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Welcome back. Fourth quarter about to begin here from Hanover, where the Golden Eagles are in control, 32-6. Looking to put another one on the board. The outlet pass to the receiver is overthrown. Marauders with some nice defensive pressure there on the quarterback. I don't think they were ready for it.
Yeah, and it was actually a good thing it was overthrown and incomplete, because even if the receiver did haul that one in, the defender was going to be right there, and it was going to be a loss of probably 3 or 4 yards. So having that sail over his head for an incomplete pass is probably the best case scenario for the Golden Eagles.
We bring up 3rd down and 8. Golden Eagles looking to convert here after giving up a touchdown for the first time. They're looking to score, but timeout before that play. Hanover wants to talk it over. 11:55 to play in the fourth quarter. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Out of the timeout. See what Golden Eagles have drawn up for their 3rd down and long, 3rd and 8, and they haven't really been in this situation much. Upping back to pass, and they have a man open along the sidelines, but it's dropped, and that was an easy first down at the 15-yard line, but it's going to be incomplete and bring up a 4th down.
Yeah, McLean put it on his man. He just didn't reel it in. That would have been a 1st down. Nice route he ran. He just couldn't haul it in.
Got to imagine you're going for it here, really. You're not going to.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to try and kick a field goal from 40 yards.
Not from this distance, for one. Besides, we haven't seen much from their kicking game, whether it be punts.
Right, they haven't kicked any extra points.
No, so no surprise here going for it.
4th and 8. Clock moving here in the fourth quarter, and this one is hauled in. Maybe a 1st down. It's going to be really close because the sticks are on the far side.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a perfectly run route there. He turned at the right time, I thought, and it looked to me like he got past the 15, but the spot happens to be right on the 15. So.
And they're going to say a 1st down after a little consideration and looking at the chains, but no measurement. 1st down, Golden Eagles.
I'm going to say that's justice because I think the spot was a little short.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
1st down and 10 from the 15.
More outstanding passing.
Yeah, what a great pass there.
He's perfect route, too. I mean, he turned right on the sticks, and it was stuck in there by McLean.
1st and 10, clock moving here. No sense in hurrying up if you're the Golden Eagles. And Mitchell sheds a tackler and then gets to the 10-yard line. A nice 5-yard run on 1st down.
That's a big kid. I'm glad I'm not playing defense for Hanover. He does not look like he's any fun to bring down.
And Gilford Belmont has a couple of nice big offensive linemen, and they're making some holes for him.
Not just for him. I mean, their passing game has been successful largely in part to their quarterback being able to sit around in the pocket and wait for his guys to get open downfield. I mean, on the other side, for Hanover, all the pass plays that they've done, their quarterback has to scramble out of the pocket. It doesn't feel like he's confident standing in there. The pocket seems to collapse on him. So great job by their O-line and another good pass play.
And a little slant pattern, and that's a touchdown. Loki gets the score, the 10-yard touchdown pass, and up now 38-6.
McLean really racking up the passing numbers at this point in time. That's his 4th passing touchdown. And we've seen very few incompletions from him, quite frankly. He's been very accurate. I'm very impressed with the way he's throwing the football. And look, Jeremy, we are getting an extra point attempt.
So 38-6 our score. Finally going to get some extra point activity out here. And that one is blocked, and maybe that's why we haven't seen that.
That might be the last extra point attempt they make this season.
38-6 our score. We'll keep it right here, 10:24 to play. And as you mentioned, they just really, this quarterback play, we really been pretty impressed. McLean's really done a nice job. His receivers have gotten wide open. I mean, that play, a nice little slant play. They're doing what they need to do to beat this Hanover team.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen some decent quarterback play in some of our games this year, no doubt. I don't want to take anything away from those guys, but this has been the best, most consistent aerial attack I've seen in recent memory for a high school football game. And like I said, I can only remember maybe 2 or 3 incompletions this whole game. I mean, he's been accurate, efficient. Hitting home runs downfield. It's not like they're just dink and dunk plays. I mean, they're taking shots. So, very impressive aerial attack.
And the kickoff again, a little short. This time it's grabbed at the 34-yard line. Yeah, we saw the one quarterback from Linden Institute against Windsor, and he was a really good thrower and runner. He also, I remember, he had a pretty good receiver who was able to get open. So you do have that combo, and when you do, it's pretty rare. I know the Hartford Hurricanes a couple years ago, they had a quarterback who was really good, the last name of Hamilton. I think his brother plays on the team. We saw his brother actually catch a touchdown pass, I believe, last week. So, yeah, every now and then you do get those, but you're right. It's pretty rare up, in this New Hampshire-Vermont football. So first down and 10 after the kickoff.
That might be a hint as to who I might be going for the player of the game, by the way.
A little foreshadowing here with 10 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. The YCN scoreboard sponsor is LaValley Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Our next YCN game is the Hurricanes of Hartford hosting Rutland. Speaking of the Hurricanes, we'll be over there next Friday night.
Always a good crowd.
Always a good crowd and great hosts, as all these high school teams, they always give us the great treatment. So we appreciate them. And as we see Cato cutting it back, trying to drag a defender. He gets to about the 40, so we'll be short of the first down, bring up 3rd and 3, but a nice cutback there.
Cato had a few nice runs on their last drive, the touchdown drive, including that big one up the middle. He's starting to get it going here in this second half. I'm sure he's going to be a big part of their offense next season, his senior year.
Yeah, they'll be rounding into shape a little bit next year. As we mentioned, they have Pierce, he'll be the quarterback once Morse has graduated. We saw him a little bit tonight, and then you've got Cato involved. Murphy, only a sophomore, so he'll be around, and he's got some nice runs this year. So, as we mentioned earlier, only 5 returning starters, 3 on offense, 2 on defense. And this team, kind of a rebuilding mode, and it is tough as they are short on the 3rd down attempt there, and punt opportunity here. And we've got a different punter out there, Joshua Bucci. We had seen Caleb Morse, the quarterback, been punting, so now Bucci will be out here.
Morse really struggled punting. He didn't really get anything over 20, 25 yards here, so let's see how this goes.
2 return men back just about at the 35-yard line on either side of it. Booming kick, and over the head of both of them, and it's touched at the 26-yard line, and that's where the Golden Eagles will take over with 8:05 to play. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, 8:05 to play. Golden Eagles just taking over on a punt, and right out of the gate, the handoff, big gainer on the right side up to the 43-yard line, and a big run for the Golden Eagles.
Yep, more big offensive plays for these Golden Eagles. High-flying offense. Back to what you were saying, though, Jeremy, about the returning starters and all that stuff. Obviously, Hanover short, 3 on offense, 2 on defense. I mean, these things happen in high school. They happen in college. You get a big class that graduates. So now they're filled with sophomores, juniors playing. Next year, you're going to have a whole bunch of seniors. At that point, they're going to be bigger, they're going to be stronger, faster, etc. So, I mean, these high school sports, college sports, they come and go in waves. And, you can have one good season, one bad season, and then you're right back to being good again. So.
And it's the programs who are able to kind of weather those storms, and their bad seasons are 500 seasons because they've spread out. And that's not a knock on Hanover. I'm not saying they're not doing it correctly, but it's tough when you can't get that spread.
In this area, New Hampshire, Vermont, where we call games, you're dealing with smaller schools.
Right.
So, if you have 50 kids that want to play football, it's easier to weather that storm. When you're dealing with smaller schools with 25 to 30 kids, it can be very challenging.
I mean, we saw, speaking of that Linden Institute game we did against Windsor, I mean, both those teams, I don't know if either of them had 25 players that dressed.
I think they were both around 22 players, period, which is, you have to have offensive and defensive players. I mean, you got people playing the entire game at that point in time, so it's a trying time for some of these schools.
And then we were up at Woodstock, who's always been a powerhouse in Vermont, and they've struggled, to fill the numbers. So it is a different time. Obviously last week, South Burlington and Burlington, they've merged. I think that was maybe their third year, I want to say, that they had merged. We had done a game a couple years ago, and Middlebury they played, and that's a tough program. And then last week against Hartford, who's a good program. And so it is tough even on the teams when they do merge. And we're seeing it here tonight as Hanover in their rebuilding phase right now. They trail 38-6. 5:58 to play in this one. We'll take a break on the YCN Game of the Week. 3rd and 8 here for the Golden Eagles. The handoff, the inside run. Maybe 3 yards. Maybe a couple. Bring up 4th down. Clock moving inside 6 minutes. Got to imagine, I would think, probably a punt here. I mean, I know you can get the first down. It's not like you're at your own 10, but really, what's the point?
Yeah, I would be shocked if they don't punt here. And that 3rd down play was actually a nice conservative play. I mean, they've been thrown on 3rd down quite successfully, and they kind of just said, we're just going to run it and play it safe. So, up 32, I don't really see any need to go for it here. We'll see what they decide to do. They're certainly taking their time and look like they're huddling up, but it looks like they are in punt formation. So.
Yeah, they did bring on their punting unit, and they do have a return man back for Hanover at the 23-yard line. It looks like that's Descateau, the running back, with a booming punt.
Yeah, nice hang time. Oh, did he fumble that?
No, I don't think he went for it. I don't know what happened on that one. I think it's going to be Hanover football.
He was calling for a fair catch, and he was right under the ball. It looks like the Golden Eagles are celebrating like they recovered it, but...
So because I didn't see him signal for a fair catch, but it looked like the defender was right on him.
No, he was definitely waving for the fair catch.
And then it looked like maybe he backed away, or maybe he just did touch it, because it looked like there was a defender right there. But there's no call. They are saying Golden Eagle football. Looks like the referee has signaled that it is Golden Eagle football. So
that was a beautiful punt.
It was a nice punt.
Time, and that's why he had to call for the fair catch. The whole defense was already down there, so I just don't think he could pull it in. Just misplayed it.
So that'll be 1st down, and a fortunate play there. If you're the Golden Eagles, you can put this game away if you haven't already with another score here. And here we go, running off to the right side. That is going to be a penalty flag, a couple of them coming in.
Probably in the area of a hold.
Yeah, the runner did make it into the end zone. There was really no signal because everyone kind of was looking at the penalty flag, but that run number 13 on the carry.
Yeah, it was a receiver sweep around the edge there, and it looked like he did have room. But again, I mean, with multiple penalty flags coming in, I'm sure that probably aided to that bit of room that he had. So this one's going to come back, and the Golden Eagles are going to have to try from a little farther out.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Mascoma Savings Bank, mutually owned with no shareholders to please. If you want your local game, event, parade, or concert televised into YCN's over 300,000 households, contact us at info@ycnnow.com. So that'll bring up 1st down and goal. Continue to be 1st and goal from the 14-yard line. And this handoff to the left side and cutting around the corner, tiptoeing along the boundary line, and he's not able to make it all the way, but nice high wire rack there by the ball carrier.
Big gain, though. They faked the same play to 13. 13. Who's 13, Jeremy? 13. Jacob Kress.
It's all falling apart here late in the game.
Yeah, so they faked the receiver reverse to him again, and the defense bid on it. That was the play that got called back from the holds on the very last play, and then they ended up handing it off to their running back, and he had a big hole on the left side since the entire Marauder defense sort of bid on that fake.
Number 9, Luke Lawyer, the sophomore running back, getting in on the carry there. Nice gain.
They do the fake again. Same fake.
I'll see who that was.
Jacob Kress, but this time they try to keep it with the QB, and it goes nowhere.
And that quarterback is number 12, Jalen Reese, freshman quarterback. So really getting to the bottom of that depth chart and getting some players in. And they don't really mind at this point because the clock continuing to move as we approach 4 minutes to play.
No, I mean, this is awesome, too, if you're the freshman out there. Getting the ball inside the 10 here. It doesn't matter what the score is or what the time is left. This is awesome experience for these kids.
So 3rd and goal. Ball at the 5-yard line. Going to drop back and pass. Has a man open, and it's bobbled and then corralled, and touchdown for the Golden Eagles. Miriam Liam with the score.
So there's your freshman QB throwing probably one of his first touchdowns. Good for him.
With 3:54 to play, the 5-yard touchdown pass.
That pass was a little late. He's got to learn from that one. It could have been picked off, but fortunately for him, the defender missed it, and it found the end zone.
Yeah, it was a little late. The defender kind of swiped at it, missed it, and then bobbled once, but then corralled, and here we go with another extra point.
Wrong I was. They will try another one. Might as well practice these too, huh?
I guess so. Up 44-6. This time the snap is good. The kick is up, and it is good.
There we go.
So 45-6 with 3:54 to play in the fourth quarter. Golden Eagles in control of this one. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. 3:54 to play here in the fourth quarter. Hanover Marauders will get the ball after the touchdown from the Golden Eagles and returned at the 28-yard line. A nice little run back for a minute there, and then he's corralled by a couple of defenders. And the ball will be spotted at the 36-yard line. We are at running clock here. 35-point lead in New Hampshire. Will be running clock, and so that touchdown put them over that. 45-6 now the score. Clock moving inside 3.5 minutes. See what the Marauders do for their players if they bring anybody in. Colin Pierce looks like he's coming back in.
The sophomore who started the game, actually.
So he's going to get some more reps under center. Cato in the backfield along with Murphy.
We didn't see any passes from Colin Pierce, did we? Or did we see? We saw the one.
He's one of the first one, and was complete. It was a little, not much, 3 or 4 yards, but really not too much. And we continue to see him keep it on the ground of the pitch there and gain of about 4 yards.
But yeah, I would like to see them give Colin Pierce an opportunity to throw the ball a little bit here. We got an injury on the field.
It's 2:44 to play. We'll step aside. Has an injury on the field. Welcome back. Injured player seems to be all right, taken off the sideline. So obviously you hate to see that at any point of the game, but especially here with the game really out of hand. And Murphy running this one off to the left side. He's tackled behind the original line of scrimmage. So that'll bring up 3rd and long inside 2.5 minutes. Clock moving. We will be at Hartford next week over in White River Junction as Rutland comes across Route 4. And that's always a great matchup. Basically, not always the heavyweights, but between Rutland, Middlebury, and Hartford are really the 3 top teams there. And we've already seen Middlebury and Hartford, so we'll get a chance Rutland and Hartford next week as that ball is incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down and punt time for the Marauders for the last time.
Yeah, Hartford's had a few great seasons here recently. They got a couple losses now this year. but certainly one of the heavyweights still. What's Rutland got for a record?
I'm not sure what Rutland's record is. They're right around the same, I believe, as Hartford, right around that 500 mark.
Mm-hmm.
Not outstanding this year, but those are the type of teams, like we were saying earlier, when they rebuild, they're around 500.
I mean, these are Division I heavyweights, and they always have good games, so it's certainly going to be an exciting one for us.
I mean, we even saw last week or a couple weeks ago, when we saw Middlebury, as we see the pass here fall incomplete, as we saw Middlebury beat Hartford. Coach Matt Trombley had some injuries in that game. He had some young guys, so it wasn't perfect, but they really had them. It was a great game for, 3.5 quarters,
Yeah.
and then one injury, I believe it was, knocked the whole thing out.
The fourth quarter thing sort of blew up for Middlebury, and to Middlebury's credit, they looked outstanding too all game, and certainly ran the ball very good. They had a running back. I can't think of his name, but boy, that kid was outstanding. One of the better running backs we've seen.
So a fourth down turnover on downs, and the Golden Eagles will take over, but with the running clock, they don't really need to snap it, I don't believe, and run a play. So they're going to run the clock down, and it looks like the final score here is going to be 45-6 in favor of the Golden Eagles of Gilford. Belmont, they defeat the Hanover Marauders under the lights Friday night football. We will step aside and come back with the post-game wrap-up on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. We are final here in Hanover, where the Marauders fall to the Golden Eagles 45-6. And Scott, let's just first get to the player of the game, the HR Clough, Kearsarge Heating, turning up the heat. Player of the game, who you got?
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy for me. For the Golden Eagles, I mean, Descoto really wanted it. He played very good. He got a couple quick touchdowns, but Jack McClain was outstanding. One of the best quarterbacks we've seen in these Game of the Weeks since I've been doing it anyway. And I have to give it to him. 4 touchdown passes, very accurate, very few incompletions. Outstanding passing attack for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, we don't see that a lot, as we talked about New Hampshire and Vermont high school football. They got out to the quick 6-0 lead. They put 20 more points up in the second quarter, 26 at halftime, and then kind of you saw some life from Hanover, but not really much. They fall to 0-6. Gilford, Belmont goes to 3-3. Kind of a struggle out there for Hanover, but maybe get some young guys and maybe get something.
We touched on it on the broadcast a bit. I mean, just too much roster turnover for them to have a good season this year, and they got a lot of sophomores and juniors playing key roles on this team, and they're learning on the fly. It's going to help them for next year, but it's going to be a struggle for the remainder of this season.
So the final score here, 45-6, Gilford, Belmont, Golden Eagles over the Hanover Marauders. Next week will be in White River Junction as Rutland travels to play the Hartford Hurricanes. For Scott Quimby, I'm Jeremy Stout. Thanks for watching the YCN Game of the Week.